What up, Facebook? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody for coming to this channel. Like and subscribe and leave your comments, whether positive or negative. Much love and much prayers to everybody out there. Here's my disclaimer. My disclaimer is, of course, you all should know that. Whoever's tuning in, those who continue to tune in. I'm not a pastor, preacher, or anything like that. I don't hold no type of office in the church, so please don't label me those titles. Hope everybody have a wonderful day today. The weekend is here for sure. Thank goodness. It's been a long work weekend. This here is live conversation number 114. Number 114, we're here to talk about drug addictions. I know we got some people probably on here that's battling that right now. You know what I'm saying? Drug addiction is not nothing to play around with. We're here live on YouTube. Front camera to my right side. It may look left side when you view it. We got Facebook on the line. I greet everybody. What up, C Rock? C Rock. What's up, man? Born again believer. Greetings to you. Athea McKenzie, what's up? He says, good evening. Brother Tony, I'm glad I caught this broadcast. God bless you. My dear brother, God bless you too, for sure. What is that? Gene Lewis off of YouTube. What's up? Shut up, I can cook says, Gina was correct. You need God to you need God to help root it out. Excuse me. Blackman says spirits people are dealing with seduction of spirits. Could you rewrite that? I'm trying to really understand what you're trying to say, at Blackman off of YouTube. Yesenia says, hello, Carpet Man, good afternoon. What location you from? Because out here in America, in Charlotte, is about, 10 p.m. right now. Where you at? Athea says, this is the Sabbath for me. Wonderful. We keep the Sabbath every day. You know what I'm saying? We try to at least, You can't keep the Sabbath one day and, live like hell the rest of the 6 days. You understand that? So I thank you for that one, for sure. Shut Up I Can Cook says, most times you cannot do it on your own. Get God involved. Watch stuff happen. That's true. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. What up, Flo? What up, Flo? India Williams. He says, greetings, brother. Mr. Ham, what up? Hope all is well. So my question is, what we I deem as like street drugs? We know cocaine, we know dope, and name some other drugs out there and things like that. And we're not glorifying any type of drugs out there. You know what I'm saying? Because some people may deem certain drugs, in the streets, they don't classify them as street drugs. They classify them as, herbs and things like that to really help people, whether with, their health issues or mental health issues and things of that situation. For sure. If anybody have been delivered from drug addictions, feel free, to share your story, your testimony, whatever the case may be, because I'm pretty sure, some out there that's really battling, drugs and things of that nature, What up, Brenda Hurd? Appreciate that. What's up, Tresh Wright? I see your comment out there. I'm gonna get to you in a bit. Forgive me as I take my time. You said sexual dreams. What? You said sexual dreams are not sent from God, but from demonic spirits. Deliverance is needed for the believer. Where you get that from? In reference to us talking about drug addiction, because I really don't know where you got that from. All right, just let me know. Levy says, my brother, what's going on? What's up, man? Hope all is well. Flo says, prescription painkillers are not street drugs, but they are like heroin. Well, a lot of people do abuse that, like the Percocets. You understand? I'm pretty sure some people's eyes lit up when I said Percocets. You understand that? So I definitely understand what you're talking about in reference to certain pain killers. They're just like heroin, very addictive. If the directions only state for you to take 2 Tylenol every 4 hours or Excedrin, or leave, but a person take 4 every hour. You know what I mean? Some people could be addicted off of those. So you're absolutely right on that one, for sure. Right? Let me read the comments here on YouTube. You laughing? Stolen clothes watch. Okay. He says, good evening. I'm surrounded by a cocaine dealer and his sucker bus combinations gamblers of bingo every day. They called me mad because I don't use it. Some old man started capitalizing off my life. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by the person capitalizing off of your life? Feel free to break that down just a little bit more so I can understand, so that people can understand just a little bit better. Shut up, I can cook says, crack, I have a male relative. He is 55 years of age. This since 16 years old. God has to intervene. You're absolutely right. You know, you're absolutely right. Definitely agree with you on that one for sure. Um, Black Men off of YouTube says addiction is often a psychological term dealing with issues that the medical community can't deal with. In the 17 and 1800s, people were placed in insane asylums because they were possessed by a spirit. Okay, understandable. Definitely understand that on that note for sure. Thea McKenzie, he says, I came through all of them. When the crack epidemic started, I saw it and I rejected it. I smoked pot and didn't want any part of that stuff. Okay, understandable. Another person off of YouTube, he says, I was scared to take painkillers. What is that, oxy? What is that, like oxycodone you're trying to say? He says, but used it and nothing but solved my pain, no addiction at all. Okay. GSP, what up? Go for YouTube. He says, coffee. You stating coffee is an addiction. Is that what you're trying to say? You know? But we mainly here touching on like street drugs and things like that. But if you stating that, somebody says painkillers, like Tylenol and coffee and stuff like that, that's fine. You know? All right, trust right. You're talking to Joshua. He says, mentioned it earlier, just clarifying for the brother. Okay, cool. John Smith off of YouTube. He says steroids is also a problem in the streets. Steroids. I haven't really heard that in a long time. You know, I think don't places like GNC sell that type of stuff. I think so. You says I used to be okay. Flo says I used to be addicted to Percocets, bad, and God delivered me. Uh, Glory to Him. Okay, okay. You said Levy says I did Percocets 6, 7 years ago. I was one and done. Wow. Elijah says, I like the way Pastor Gino talks about the Hebrew Israelites. Okay. He says, God is not black. He's a spirit, and there is no prophecy of Muhammad in the Quran. Tony Wright. Well, I don't know too much about the Quran. You know, I don't really dabble in that stuff, but he was on point for sure. Levy says I had to remove myself that group of friends. Okay, understandable, you know. And definitely, I mean, you gotta really remove yourself from people who's doing those things for sure. You know, I don't get it when it comes to people who's like to become addicted or who think it's okay to do those type of street drugs out there and things like that. What up, Emmett Spears? He says, "What's up?" With hope down with dope. Okay, I ain't really understand that too much. Forgive me. Let me read that again. He says, "What's up, brother Tony? Up with hope, down with dope." Okay, I got you. He says the painkiller stuff. I do not understand. What do you mean by that? What don't you understand about certain painkillers and things like that? For sure. Just let me know what you're talking about. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. So yeah, in reference to you says, "Hey brother, I finally caught alive. I'm driving on my way home. Grace and peace unto you. Be safe out there on those roads." For sure. He says nobody wants to become addicted sometimes. It just creeps up on you, dabbing in certain things. You think they are okay because they are prescription, but your body also gets addicted, not not only your brain. Okay, I understand. I definitely understand. I heard a lot of people talking about Percocets and whatnot. You know, I even had somebody years ago try to sell me some stuff. You know, I know how I am. You understand? I know how I am. You know, I'm gonna just say that I know how I am with things like that. You know, looking at people real crazy to try to offer me pull out some Percocets. You know, well, I never done any type of drugs. I'm not trying to put people down or anything because I haven't walked in people's shoes and stuff like that to really understand those things. So I'm not that type of person, you know. Paulina from YouTube. Paulina from YouTube says, my son is addicted to K2. What is that, like a synthetic type of weed or something like that? He says, for the past 11 years. I want to see him when you said I went to see him Wednesday, got him something to eat and a Sprite to drink, and I just thank God every day that he's alive. That's why I live a holy life. Understandable. You know, we definitely got to pray for those out there who's addicted to certain things like that. You know, definitely for sure. What is that? El Hud, he says, do something else, not drugs. Think about how much time you're invested in that. That's a good point. You know, but like the sister says, if you scroll up and you look at her comment off of YouTube, she says nobody wants to become addicted sometimes. It just creeps up on them, dabbling in certain things, which is understandable. I'm not glorifying it, I'm not justifying it, you know. What up, Denise? What is that? T-Lane Clay? Keep it going for sure. We'll do. Absolutely. Born Again Believer says, yes, K2 is another street drug. Okay. He says, I miss everybody. I hope all is well with everyone. Much love to y'all. Right back at you. GSP asks, what is K2? He said, just say no. You funny. You're definitely funny for sure. All right. He says, I don't understand how people can get addicted to painkillers. Percocets, oxycodone. I was afraid to take them several years ago. I took one recently for a severe pain, solved my pain, no desire for them. Well, from certain people's when they talked about like Percocets and whatnot, you know, a lot of people being in a lot of pain and things like that. Now, I'm not glorifying the drug Percocet at all, but it was said that once they take those Percocets, like they feel so much better. You know, I'm pretty sure after a while it wears off, and you know they want to take another Percocet and things like that. So a lot of them may get addicted to that type of stuff because they don't want to feel they don't want to feel that type of pain, you know, or they want to feel good in general. Is that a righteous way of taking drugs? I may want to put a question mark there for sure, you know. Okay. Emmett Spears, you said my young brother. Now you he says now you get to see why why I be saying mugs be tripping. Absolutely. Blackman says K2 is synthetic weed. Synthetic weed. So what is the difference? What is the difference between synthetic and regular? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know for sure. So please share with the people in the comment section. What up, Nate Hall? He says Nathan Hall of Canada. What's up? Shout out to Canada for sure. Elijah says they need that commercial back. This is your brain on drugs. Eggs burning. You threw it back for sure. Because a lot of people's brains are burning with all these different type of drugs out there that they're doing. You know what I mean? Conjuring up certain spirits to do certain crimes. And I'm not blaming, everything on drugs in general, but it has a majority reason why certain situations are happening, for sure. Levy says, off topic, I'm surprised you haven't talked about that pastor from New York and that fake robbery. I touched on it a little bit. I think it was on the last live on YouTube, not Facebook. Certain things could be staged for attention, but if a man like him flashing jewelry and all that type of stuff on camera and things like that, and I believe he did another video. Listen, there's hungry wolves out there. You know what I'm saying? And they will get you. They definitely will get you. If you're on social media, if you're on TV, flashing jewelry, flashing money, and things of that situation, people will find a location on you, and they will try to come after you. You know, because it's like you flaunting. You know, some people ain't got nothing, and they see that. They see a come up. You understand that? So you got hungry wolves out here in general. You know what I mean? Instead of flossing and whatnot, you know, even though, you know, some people still try to give back and, you know, people still try to go after them. You know what I mean? But you definitely putting yourself out there if you are on TV or on social media, flashing jewelry and things like that, especially if you some so-called, well, I'm not going to call him a pastor, but if he called himself a pastor and things like that, you know what I mean? Okay. What up, Ivy Coast? What up? What up? Okay, Blackman. I'm gonna read your comment in a bit. I'm gonna definitely read your comment in a bit for sure. You said the body gets used to it. The body gets used to the prescription, and then the dosage doesn't work anymore. Then you have to take a greater amounts to get the same effect. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I definitely see. That's a good point right there. You know, that's definitely a good point. It kind of reminds me of, I think a person mentioned that similar, you know, in reference to somebody who's taking cocaine for the first time, and then they start taking it again and again. They're chasing that first high, so they can't catch it off of taking the same amount from the beginning. So now they're trying to take more, just to trying to chase that first high that they had before. So I definitely understand that. Tika Johnson, for YouTube, says I had a scheduled C-section. Okay, and before I went in, I prayed that God would make sure I didn't get addicted to any medication that was prescribed to me. I just didn't want to fall into that hole. Understandable. El Hud says it's like when you hang around people that swear all the time, it rubs off on you. Gotta watch out who you hang around with. I can agree for the most part. I definitely could agree to that. You know, King George says, "What's up, my brother? What up? What up? What up? Hope all is well." Um, Tress Wright says, "My grandmother's boyfriend. Your grandmother's boyfriend was addicted to K2, and he had an episode like a seizure. It was very frightening." And you said, I heard that K2 was chemicals from embalming fluid. Not sure if that's it, but it's bad. Well, I've heard of, you know, certain individuals getting embalming fluid. What they call it back in Jersey was like what, wet or something like that, dip and things like that. I mean, what fool would go to a funeral home or wherever you get that stuff to inject in a dead body, dip a cigarette in it, and smoke it? You know what I mean? What idiot would do that? You know what I'm saying? How is that, you know what I'm saying, glorifying one's body in general, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally? How is it? You know, some people sniff airplane glue. You know what I mean? What's what's so good about that, man? What's so good about that? Let me know, please. You know what I mean? You say he dressed like a pimp. That's funny. You say he was in prison for fraud before. Hmm. And a lot of them, you know, so-called preachers like that. You know what I mean? Where they get their skills from? The streets. You know what I mean? That's where they get their skills from. A lot of them. You know what I mean? Athea McKinney says synthetic means that it's man-made, which is always a problem. Okay. All right. Emmett Spears says Dipper, Sherm, what is that? Love bot, water, real brain cells killer. Absolutely. King George says, I was one of those wolves until I turned from my wicked ways. Yeah, man. You know, you got a lot of what they call them, the stick up boys, you know, and they looking for a come up. You understand? Looking at the rappers out there and whatnot. A lot of them have been robbed and things like that. So to these fellas out there who's robbing people, they don't care if that person is a so-called pastor. They don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at the jewels this person has on. They're looking at the money this guy's flashing and things like that. And guess what? They're going to get the drop on you. You know what I mean? GSP says K2 is spice, or I'm or I'm so old. That's funny. What up, GS? What up, G Swole? He says, "What's up? Why do you think they stopped TV shows that had episodes that went against drug dealers?" Well, I don't know. I don't watch too much of that TV like stuff. Like Power or whatever. I don't watch that type of stuff. If you're talking about that, you know. So I can't answer that because I don't watch stuff like that. In general. So I really don't know what's going on in that department. GSP says the lost have no fear of the Lord. Understandable. Definitely understand that. He says I had a client a few years ago, 23 years old, young man, mind fried due to K2. Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. He says, so you said K2 fried this person's brain. You know what I mean? So where did this K2 come from? How long did it exist? Because I know all this new stuff is coming out. You know what I'm saying? Once again, we're not glorifying it. We're just trying to, get informative information in general. Trust Right over YouTube. He says, what should believers do? He says, what should believers do that are suffering from drug addictions? What are some ways that believers can resist the urge to get high? Well, I'm not walking in those type of shoes. But what I can say is pray. Seek God for sure. You know, definitely seek God. And I know there's a lot of other things that, people are addicted to besides street drugs and whatnot. You understand that? But for anything, of course, lean to God and pray for sure. All right. You said to get high. Wow, that's some deep stuff right there for sure. And Miss Spears says sticker boys look for easy marks. He said fast, stupid money. G Swole says, he says, I'm talking about back then. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I got you. He says, I'm talking about back then shows like the Wayans Brothers, Fresh Prince, and Rock. Okay. Okay, let me go back to your question and try to tie it up together. He says, why do you think they stopped TV shows that had episodes that okay, I know what you're talking about now. I remember that show with Rock, you know what I mean, with Clifton Powers on it. That was an informative show right there for sure. So I absolutely understand what you're talking about right now. And also when Carlton, I think he was getting high or something like that, and Will Smith got upset at him in that show. So now I understand what you're talking about for sure. Or when I think when Marlon and the Wayans brothers, I think he met a friend or an actor or something like that, and that actor off that TV show, he introduced him to drugs, and his brother Sean got kind of upset about that. So I know what you're talking about now. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I remember those shows, man. I definitely do. All right. What up, Kev? He says this guy at work told me he be doing mushrooms. Mushrooms? What? He said it make him feel like he be close to God. That's funny. That's definitely funny. What up, Alan Lewis? What up, Hudson? He says I lost my sister in 2019. She was on drugs for over 30 years. He says she said what you just said, that they are chasing after that very first high. She was 68 years of age when she died. Wow. Wow. You know, I understand. Definitely understand that. Love God off of YouTube. You says happy Sabbath, Trinidad and Tobago. We are next to Venezuela. The drugs is pouring in, and my brother is getting caught up. Please pray for him. Will do for sure. Flo says they used to sell K2 or spice like in gas stations. A lot of people did it since they couldn't smoke on probation and stuff like that. So let me get this straight. Are you telling me like if a person uh smoke K2 and versus a person who smoke regular marijuana, and if they do like a urine test, the K2 won't show up? Is that what you're saying? At Flo? Dolly Nix is what is so wrong if a pastor has nice things as long as he got it the right way? Everybody else is wearing nice things as Lind, as he is not ripping the members off. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Nice things like what? You know what I'm saying? Nice things like what? Would you agree with a pastor wearing or flaunting jewelry, money, and things like that? You know what I mean? When you behind the pulpit, it ain't about that. You understand that? It's about what? Saving souls. You know what I'm saying? Breaking the word of God down and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Me, I'm not no preacher. I'm not a pastor or anything like that. You know what I mean? But if you know it's hungry wolves out there, if you know that people you will give people the itch to want to rob you in general. You know what I'm saying? It's starving people out there physically, you know? So instead of like trying to floss and flaunt and things like that, focus on what's really at hand. You know what I mean? The soul of a person in general. There's nothing wrong with nice things and things like that, but there's a certain way you go about things. You understand? Hypothetically speaking, I could be a billionaire and things like that. You know what I mean? Me, I wouldn't even tell nobody. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even carry myself as far as like flossing and things like that. You know what I mean? I would use those funds to help people out more so. You know what I mean? But me personally, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like the brother said earlier, he was one of those wolves who would look for people like that. And if you see a person like that, whether it's a pastor, a rapper, a basketball player, or whatever, you know what I mean? They're gonna go after them and things like that because it's a come up. He says his mother brought him into our office to apply for public assistance. He sat there laughing. He could not give me his own name. His mother told me he smoked K2 and weed. Shut and Cook said over YouTube. Wow. Chev says, what do you think about mushrooms? I mean, I don't know too much about them. You know what I mean? The only thing I know about mushrooms is when I seen like a little snippet of Mike Tyson doing mushrooms. I really don't know too much about them. You understand? I don't know too much about them. Now, are they the mushrooms that, you know what I mean, you use on pizza? Or are they a different type of mushrooms? Let me know. Let me know. You says K2 is so much worse than weed. Wow. Okay. GSP says, I get you. You mean episodes a value of a life lesson before. True. I agree. I agree for sure. Okay, GSP. You says I can't even tell if half the people are men or women now. That's a different topic. That's another topic for another day. You know what I'm saying? I, I definitely understand what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Woo-wee. You understand? So listen, I definitely understand that. You gotta be, you gotta be sure about that. You know what I mean? I think had a small conversation today about that with somebody. You know, it's kind of rough in these days to really tell. You know what I mean? These doctors are getting more skilled and things like that with certain surgeries and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's another topic for another day. Okay. You said she died from health issues. Such a blessing that she lived that long as she did, for sure. What up, Sakari? What area is that flag that you put up? Okay, Flo says it doesn't. So you say K2 does not show up on drug tests because there are no tests for it. Wow. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that. You know. You says nice things like dressing like a pimp. True. So it's like if a so-called pastor get up in the pulpit and dress like a gangbanger, that's okay. You know what I mean? It's a certain way to go about things and things like that. All right. G Swole, you says I was wondering, is it illegal for a person to let somebody use his urine to get a job? Since the fact that somebody doesn't want to stop smoking weed. Well, there are some people who do that. There's some people who do that for sure, man. There's some people who do that. You know, don't ask me how. You know what I'm saying? But I've heard stories about that. Is it legal? Well, I haven't read it yet, but I guess it depends on the state you're in also, you know. But I'm pretty sure it's against the law in general. Because if you get caught, that's like Flo mentioned with the probation officers. You know what I mean? If one is using another person's urine and get caught for it, man, they definitely could get in trouble for that. As far as like with a job and things like that, if they get caught, I haven't I haven't heard no stories like that. You know what I mean? I haven't heard I haven't heard no stories like that for sure. You know what I mean? Your saying says, if any kind, what kind of TV shows do you like to watch? Sports. A lot of sports in general. I speak upon like certain movies that I try to watch, like the Harriet Tubman movie. That was a good positive movie to watch. Harriet Tubman, or this movie called Fireproof or something like that. You know what I mean? Of course, back in the day, I used to watch. I like the Juices, the Boys in the Hood, and stuff like that. The Martin Lawrence Show, Fresh Prince, and things like that. But in these days, you see these TV shows, man. They got a lot of homosexuality things and things that's just not, edifying. Nothing with no value to it. Like the brother said earlier, TV shows like Rock, the Wayans brothers or Fresh Prince, when they had shows on there that had value to it. There were shows out there with value. And these days, shows out here, I haven't heard of any that had some value to it at all. At all. At all. All right. But me personally, I watch a lot of sports, and you know what I mean, that's about it for the most part. Or watch, little documentaries or things like with, Animal Channel and stuff like that. But I really don't watch too much of that type of TV shows like Power and the Game and all other stuff, Lies and Hip Hop. I don't watch that stuff, man. You know. Shut Up I Can Cook says, God and Pastor Gino showed me by whacking someone I love. Wake up, call. We breathe by God's mercy. God said, "Be holy." Shut Up I Can Cook said, "Okay, here on YouTube." Emmett Spears says, "I thought the '90s drug epidemic was bad. Nothing compared to today's present day drug use." Um, elaborate just a little bit more at Emmett Spears. Because I remember back in the day. I mean, it was a lot of fiends out there. It's a lot of fiends, a lot. I think in these days it's different type of drugs or people trying different things. They trying anything in these days. They try bleach. They'll mix bleach and ammonia and dip the cigarette in it. They're trying any and everything just to try to get a certain high. You understand? So what do you think about that? All right. King George says, I used to dip my cigarettes in my blunts, pop pills, do lean, and snort powder. Wow. And I know I was truly a child of the devil then. Now I'm truly a man of God. Wow. That's a deep testimony right there, man. Very brief, deep testimony for sure. What up at HB Lonnie off of Facebook? Um, you're talking about now HB Lonnie from Facebook. When somebody mentioned about using somebody else's urine for a job and things like that because they smoke weed, you said they use their kids' pee. That's funny. What up, Kathy Jones from Facebook? For sure. Appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the love and all that. Love God off of YouTube. You says a pastor with such behavior is not converted or humble. Okay. Okay. You know what I mean? GS Swole says, I hear you, bro. That's the difference between rich white people and rich black people. Okay. What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Yesenia says, what are you going to do? Ask for the birth certificates on a date? Listen, listen, it's tough, as the brother mentioned earlier. It's tough in these days because people getting all this sexual organs done and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Be careful out there. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful for sure. You know, GS4 says, "Oh, okay, you talking to somebody else? My fault." Flo says, "Ask to look at their hands to see if they are a man or woman. Women have the same length, index, and ring finger, and in men, one will be longer than the other." Really? Really? I never heard that before. I never heard that before. How true is that? Flo from YouTube. You mentioned. Actually, I guess it's talking about, how can you tell a man from a woman, for those who just now tuning in, because, you got a lot of men who convert over to being transgenders and things like that, getting sex changes and all that other foolishness. And you got women who do vice versa. You understand? She says, ask to look at their hands to see if they are a man or a woman. Women have the same length, index, and ring finger. And in men, one will be longer than the other. Never heard of that before, but pretty interesting. Jelly Bean, you said, should Christians? That's a good question. A lot of people ask that question. Should Christians carry a gun or have a gun for protection? Now, many people have pros and cons about that. You know what I'm saying? Just like with smoking marijuana, you know? I come across a lot of people who speak about they carry guns for protection, or hunting, when hunting for animals and stuff like that to eat, deers and whatnot, you know? So people have their pros and cons about that. You know what I'm saying? So you could type in, of course, PJ's name and type in firearms, you know, type in firearms here on YouTube. Breaks it down a little bit better. Jaden, how are you doing, Tony? I'm good. I'm chilling, What up, Tasha? He says hello, everyone. All right, cool. Kev says, I saw a video with people talking about it makes them see things or hear voices. I think they get high off of it. Well, yeah. Yeah, I've heard that too. When people do certain drugs and things like that, like angel dust, like dip and stuff like that, they start hallucinating and whatnot, you know? So I did hear about things like that for sure. What up, Moni? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. You says much Detroit love at 10:37 p.m. Glad to see you. You still celebrating your birthday. Appreciate that. You know, you said the different topics, drug addictions, people are still doing it. On I don't know that last part you're talking about. Tasha says back in the day things were private. Nowadays they're not hiding it. They show it like it's normal. For sure. All right. Jaden says there are multiple ways to tell a man from a woman. You got to look at the backbone structures. That's the main tell. You funny, man. You is funny. You says look at my hands. Do that later probably. A power scene Anisha says, what do you think about old music about drug addictions like Curtis Mayfield? I never heard. I don't think I listened to that. You know, put a link in here. To what song are you referring to? I'll check it out, Lord willing, later. GSP says, when my time is up, it's up. I'll go home to the Lord for sure. For sure, for sure. You know. Levy, are you talking to somebody else? All right. You're welcome at Nate Hall for sure. Jaden says, I said the backbone structure in general, not backbones. I know what you mean. Listen, I definitely know what you mean, man. But you got these what do you say about how can I put it? Those sex changes and all this type of plastic surgery and things like that a lot of people cannot tell a man from a woman and things like that. What do you say about that? What do you say? All right. Let me see if I miss anybody else. Y'all going y'all going in on that topic for sure. You know what I mean? Jaden says, why he keeps saying that's funny. GSP says, you says talk he says talk about unequally yoked. That's definitely for sure, man. Definitely. You're right on point with that one. All right. Dana Newell off of Facebook. I'm doing well. I'm just chilling, enjoying this night, enjoying this evening for sure. I appreciate the great words of encouragement. You know what I mean? I hope you're doing well also. At Dana Newell off of Facebook for sure. You know. All right. Levy, excuse me. Hudson says, I don't know if anyone asks, and forgive me if they have, but I've heard people say, okay, let me read this. Shelly Hudson off of YouTube. He says, I don't know if anyone asks, and forgive me if they have, but I've heard people say that there's nothing wrong with smoking marijuana. Well, to the people in the chat room, you know, feel free to leave your comments on what Sheila Hudson mentioned. What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that one? G.S. Swole says, what do you think about those medications for kids back then? I forgot the name of those pills, but I know they're prescription pills, sleeping pills. Oh, melatonin? You talking about melatonin at GS Swole? That's what you're talking about? Flo says you can't always tell with bone structure because some men are smaller framed. Well, listen, I don't know nothing about that, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? Y'all funny on that one, for sure. All right. So you talking about sleeping pills? He says I tell people it is because it will affect you to a point where people will commit sin. Okay, you're right. You're right. But everybody's working on certain things in life, of course. Everybody's working on certain things in life, but I understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? In reference to something influencing a person even more to go out there and do certain things like that. So I understand. GSP says Flintstone chewable addict. What do you mean? I thought Flintstones was like, vitamins and whatnot for kids. Are you telling me that somebody was addicted to Flintstones? Really? Because they probably taste like candy and whatnot. Linwood McNeil says, is smoking anywhere in the Bible? Where you going with this one? Where you going? Smoking. You ask, is smoking anywhere in the Bible? Where you going with that one? Where you going? Kev, you says, what about alcohol addictions? You're right. You're right. You know what I'm saying? You're right. We spoke about that. We're speaking about alcohol addictions. You can speak about vitamin addictions, drug addictions. You understand? What up, Henley? Greetings to you too. Hope all is well for sure. So a lot of people who get drunk off of alcohol, their behavior goes off track. You might wake up next to somebody in the bed. You know what I'm saying? That you regret. You might do something out of whack. A lot of people's behavior change when they get drunk or have a certain liquor or something like that, especially dark liquor. You know what I mean? Especially that, for sure. You said you didn't get the alert. Well, you know how YouTube works. You know what I mean? With the shadow banning and whatnot. What up, Ernest Beard? Levy says, when it comes to smoking, I think of the scripture that says, lean not the way of the heathens. Understandable. You said drinking spirits. GSP. Okay. Understandable. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, okay. Facebook. HB Lonnie, you says, as a Christian, you shouldn't smoke weed, just harsh, true facts. All you can do is repent, pray about, and talk God, ask for help. Okay. What is that? Dewana from Facebook. You says somebody's laughing. I think any kind of drugs that alters your state of mind is quite demonic. Pharmaceutical drugs, I believe, defiles the flesh, including weed. Okay, let me get this straight. It says pharmaceutical drugs. I'm thinking you're talking about like when a doctor prescribes somebody a drug. Let's say somebody got high blood pressure. Let's say somebody that, and somebody get prescribed like Norvasc or something like that to lower their blood pressure and things like that. So, do you believe that that can defile the flesh in general? If somebody needs a medication like that, if you're talking about that, you understand? What up, James Brown from Facebook? For sure. All right. Hudson says, I tell people that the sin is not in the alcohol, it's in the drunkenness. Okay. What do y'all think about that comment right there? About Hudson, for sure. Levy, you funny. Darlene Nix says, didn't Jesus turn water into wine for the wedding because they had ran out of wine? Well, when drinking wine, I believe it's permitted. What is the scripture? I think it's in Timothy or something like that. When it says, use no longer water, but drink a little wine for thy stomach's sake and thy often infirmities and stuff like that, And people also use wine for communion. You understand that? All right. G Swole says Ritalin sleeping pills. That's the name. I never heard of that before. I never heard of those sleeping pills ever. Henley says, yeah, it does. The liquor store says wine and spirits. You funny. You is funny. Martinez says, shouldn't Christians study the Bible and not talk about each other? Sinners looking down on sinners. Okay. Let me read this one again. Now, I don't know how you how you stand it on your end. He says, shouldn't Christians study the Bible and not talk about each other? Well, it's not a matter of talking about each other. You understand that? Because iron sharpens iron. You know what I'm saying? If I'm around a person who's striving also, I could feed off of them. What is that, corrective criticism and stuff like that? So if I'm doing something that's contrary to what I'm reading, and somebody says, listen, man, you got to stop this, you got to stop that, whoop, and all the other stuff, you know what I mean? It is a righteous judgment. It's going to have me thinking, yeah, this person is right, and what have you. Just like if a person is obese and things like that, and I let's say if I'm obese, and I'm going to Popeyes every day, you know what I'm saying? And then somebody come with a correction upon my end, like, listen, you need to stay out of there. You need to go to Smoothie King, you need to work out and things like that. It's not a matter of talking down on people. You understand that? It has nothing to do with that at all. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? And you put down sinners looking down on sinners. What do you mean by that? There's a difference between a person who's straddling the fence, who's playing church, those who are striving, and those who are really about that life. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who are striving, certain things that they're struggling with and whatnot in life. But then you got these people, who's playing church, like the pastor who got robbed and stuff like that, and things like that. And then you got people who are really in tune, who went through their struggles, who got over the hump, who went through their trials and tribulations and things like that, and really living a holy, clean life right now. You understand? So it's not a matter of people talking down or about each other and things like that. Is that you want to see this person strive. You want to see this person do good. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you have love for people, so you want them to do good. You're not talking down on them as for them to feel a certain way. Like, wow, man, this person is talking down on me and whatnot. This person is judging me this way, that way, and what have you. That's not the case at all. You understand? But I do understand what you're trying to say for sure, especially when you said sinners looking down on sinners. I definitely understand that for sure. Um, Donovan says crack. I haven't heard crack in a long time. I haven't heard that in a long time. There's a lot of new stuff out here, man. People trying people trying new stuff. You say, isn't there a scripture about a strong drink? Uh, I think it is. I think. Try Googling it. I think. Elijah says that was spiritual wine. The water was back then. Okay. GSP says we like to be around our brothers and sisters in Christ. Okay. Brandon Lewis from YouTube says I use LSD. What is LSD? What is that? You said a while ago. Then I had a near death experience and went to hell. Saw it all down there. Later on, found Gina. Wow. Brandon Lewis, you had a near death experience. Wow, that's something deep right there. I think we talked about that, I think last month, in reference to near death experiences and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Boy, you say you had a near death experience and you saw hell. That's some deep stuff right there. GS Swole says, I Google it and it's pills to calm adults and children down. So what's your thoughts towards that? Well, I gotta look really in depth with that type of pill. I never heard of it. You know what I'm saying? I really have to look at more information upon it. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. All right. For sure. You know what I mean? The Warner off of Facebook. You said you're just not a fan of pharmaceuticals. There's a reason why some people are on high blood pressure for years and years and don't get better. You can use natural methods to be healed of high blood pressure issues. My thoughts, chemotherapy, same thing. Unnatural methods to heal, I believe, is against God. Well, check this out. Some people, have hereditary with certain things like high blood pressure, cancer, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you may state natural methods, which is true. You know what I mean? People could eat right, exercise, and all those other things. But there's some people out there who have a healthy lifestyle, who do work out and stuff like that, and still have high blood pressure. They still have certain health conditions and things like that. See, with them exercising and eating right and taking vitamins, is helping them out. You understand? But what happens if they didn't do those things and stuff like that? So some people are born with those type of things. You know what I mean? So when we go to the doctor and stuff like that, they ask for our family history and stuff like that. Or did your mother had this, or did your father, anybody in your family had diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and all this other stuff out there. But I do understand what you're saying. There are natural things out there. And maybe, people like that got to try more hard and stuff like that. You understand? But a lot of people want to take the easy route. You know what I mean? Go get a quick prescription from the doctor, pop it in their mouth, and that's it. You know what I mean? They don't want to go through the hard work, working out, eating right, taking vitamins and natural herbs and stuff like that. For sure. But I do understand what you're saying. James Brown from Facebook says, since you talking about, he says, since there's no I miss your message. I miss your message. Forgive me. It went away. You says, I guess this is off topic, but there's no FC in Iowa where I live. I really want to be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ. I don't know if I should let a Christian preacher baptize me in Jesus Christ's name, for as the Muslims, I mean Mormons. Well, just go to truthofgod.com. Look at the nearest location to you. You understand? If it got some type of contact information, like an email or phone number, you would contact it. You know what I mean? Some brothers may come out there and, they got the little pool that they bring with them on the truck, and, they may come baptize, or email the church. Go to the website, truthofgod.com. They have a contact area on there where you can enter your information, or you can look at the nearest location, and if they have contacts up there, do as I just said, man, and see what happened. Or you can email me, boxertonyharvin@gmail.com, man. You know what I'm saying? Definitely try to help you out as much as possible. All right. Dewana from Facebook says, and that's how they get addicted to the drugs. Well, so what do you say? What do you say if a person don't get addicted? You know what I mean? Because some people have to take a high blood pressure pill once a day. You understand? Which is prescribed once a day. You understand? What do you say about that? If that person don't get addicted to it, you know? All right. Let's go back to YouTube. Levy says, people are quick to say you putting them down when really you are just trying to bring awareness. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of people out there like that, for sure. When you try to give advice, when you try to give like correction and you know encouragement and stuff like that, they're trying to say you're judging them. They're trying to say you're talking down on them. They think you think you're better than us and stuff like that. That's not the case. And I know some people may come off like that, but that's not the case. Brandon Lewis says it was the whole spiritual awakening thing. That new age stuff is a lie for sure. For sure, for sure. What up, Marvelous? What up, YouTube? Kev, you said every time I see videos with them false prophets, I see how merciful the Lord is. I sometimes wonder how can one sleep at night knowing they are deceiving the people? Wow. Wow. G Swole, you says, do you think rappers that rap about selling drugs was really about their life? When I saw an interview of Tony Ayo backing up his and G Unit lifestyle of doing that before they was famous. Well, I do know those type of people was out there. You know, those type of people like him and 50 and stuff like that, they was doing that type of stuff, man. But certain people who rap about that stuff and things like that, no. But you could tell. You could tell who was really doing it and who wasn't, for sure. Marvelous says temperate mean moderate in indulgence of the natural appetites or passions as temperate in eating and drinking, for sure. All right. Okay. Appreciate that. Brandon Lewis says, blessing to you. So, okay, you talking to somebody else. Elijah says, Paul said, be not drunk with strong drinks, but be filled with the Spirit. Let your light shine. Says Tony, do you know when PJ will be coming to Savannah, Georgia? My family and I would like to be baptized the right way. Well, truthofgod.com, look at the scheduling and stuff like that, you know what I mean, to see the scheduling upon that, you know, or, you know, if you feel as though you want to come to Philadelphia, but that's not the, he would say, like, if you're just looking for him to baptize you and stuff like that, you know what I mean? I mean, it's the same with the ministers in general at First Church. I believe there's a temple out there in Georgia. You know, if you just go to the location sections on the truthofgod.com, you know, you can check that out to see if it's near Savannah, Georgia, for sure. You know, all right. He says HB Lonnie from Facebook. He says, "What about meth? I lost friends, died shooting up meth. Never know they were doing it. People are secretive about their drug use. That's some deep stuff right there, for sure. Oh, Augusta. Okay. All right. We 57 minutes in the live. We 57 minutes in the live. We're definitely going to conclude this in a bit. I appreciate everybody for coming on this live on YouTube and Facebook, for sure. You know, hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. You know, this was live conversation number 114 for YouTube, and the 7th time that we have broadcasted from Facebook. We here talking about drug addictions in general. I appreciate everybody for, you know, leaving their comments and things like that, opinions and facts and what have you. You know, in general, my email is boxertonyharvin @gmail.com. Facebook, TONY space FASTHANDZ space HARVIN. Also, hit me up on Instagram. I am not on Instagram that much, but I will try to check it as much more as possible now. Okay. Let me read some more comments and then we're going to conclude this for sure. Levy says we need Truth of God gems. He said we need Truth of God gems. Jid Swole says, did you get done working out? No. 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 Do you teach the word of God? No, I don't. No, I don't at a power seen in nature and the universe. No, that's a part of my disclaimer, in the beginning of these lives for sure, All right. So we're about to wrap it up for sure. We're definitely about to wrap it up. I thank everybody for coming on the live. Thank everybody for coming on the Facebook also. For sure we'll be back live streaming, Lord willing, maybe tomorrow or Monday for sure. So what up, Jose? You kind of came at a later time. What up, Wesley? You know what I'm saying? We definitely about to conclude this for sure. So once again, hope everybody have a wonderful night. YouTube, Facebook, we out. See y'all again, Lord willing. Peace. Let me answer this one question from G Swole before I go. He says, "Can you work out and drive trucks?" I do that. Sometimes the job you get driving trucks requires physical labor. So when you're working 8 to 10 hours on a truck and moving boxes and whatnot and running up and down a ramp, that's considered a workout. You know what I'm saying? That still can be considered a workout. Because some of them same similar physical labor you do delivering and stuff like that, you do at the gym and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I've considered, when I'm at work and stuff like that, a workout. So after working and whatnot, if I happen to go for a run, I count that as a second workout and things like that. Because when you do physical labor at any job, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna see the results in your body in general. You know what I mean? You're definitely gonna see the results for sure. But I do enjoy it for sure. You know what I mean? It's hot out here in Charlotte, but I got to get out there for sure. All right, gonna conclude this. Peace. I'm out.